Yo, what's going on everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day, and some of you might not even remember me, but if you are stopping by for the first time, definitely go and hit that subscribe button. We do a lot of computer content on this channel, gameplay, just kind of all the above. And so today, what I actually want to talk about, since I've owned the 4090 for about a year now, I'll show you guys it right here. There is the Founders Edition 4090 with a 13900K. So one thing I want to talk about today is whether or not I actually recommend buying this graphics card. And really just jumping straight into it, I do not recommend you guys to buy the 4090 unless, and here are the reasons. You're trying to future-proof your build so that it lasts at least 4 to 5 years, you know, running, max settings or doing whatever you need it to do. Or you're just trying to run, you're an enthusiast like myself and you're trying to run max settings 4K Ultra at high FPS. Now, you do not need a 4090 to run 4K. You can run a 4090 with a 3080 or a 3080 Ti. Now, you probably won't be above 60 FPS, but I believe the 3080 Ti and the 3090 will actually run 4K, depending on the game, at around 80 or 90 FPS. Now I'm running on Warzone 4K Ultra settings, about 160, 150 FPS. So unless you're that individual out there where you're like, I need to play all of my games 100 plus FPS at 4K Ultra settings, well, you're probably gonna have to get a 4090. Now, one of the other reasons why I would actually say to not buy the 4090 is obviously the cost of the card. You guys know these cards are still going for around $1,600 or $1,700, and I actually ended up getting mine for $1,900 way back when they first came out, and I thought that was honestly a steal for $1,900 for the Founders Edition. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money. And so there's other options out there. Go get a 3080 Ti for $900. I think they're going from $900 to $1,000. Save yourself $700 or $800 and get a 3080 Ti. So you know what I mean? There's definitely other options out there, and that's why I recommend to not buy the 4090 unless you're wanting, those two reasons like I stated, before. Now, one of the other cool things, and don't get me wrong, the 4090 is a complete monster of a card. I mean, if you compare it to like the 7900 XTX, which comes in at around $1,000, some of them are around 11 to 1200, you're about 20 to 30 FPS more with the 4090, which is, for some people, they want that extra 20 or 30 FPS, especially when you're playing 4K. But if you're one of those people that's playing 1440p, you don't need a 4090. You definitely do not need a 4090. And if some people are even working with their 4090, I mean, I would just say buy NVIDIA's enterprise grade GPUs instead of buying a 4090. You really shouldn't be using a 4090, but some people do. But no, it is a complete monster of a card. And I mean, I'm not taking anything away from it. It is a fast card. It beats everything out. And it's really, even with RTX, if you're running RTX, it's really good on RTX, which I actually do run RTX. Some people don't care for RTX. But with the 13900K, the 4090 works extremely well with that CPU. Now, one other thing I want to talk to you guys about is kind of the performance of it, as far as like the cooling, the overclocking. The really cool thing about the 4090 is it runs really cool, which a lot of people don't think that it does, and it really doesn't pull that much wattage. So I'm actually going to jump into a game here of Warzone and show you guys, like right now, we're idling right now. It's only 40% usage. We are running, 40 degrees on the GPU. And around 40 degrees on the CPU, which is extremely, extremely good. Now, obviously, it's only 40% usage, but the temperature on the 4090 sits around 57 degrees, which is really good. And it pulls around 200 and 80 to 300 watts, and that's overclocked. Now, sometimes it goes over 300 watts. Very rarely, though. It doesn't pull as much as some people think. Like, some people thought it pulled 500. And maybe some of the AIB cards pull a little bit more, but definitely not 100 more watts. So, if you were going to buy one, I'd be looking, it's probably going to pull around 300 to around 300, maybe 320 in some cases. You can run this card with an 850 watt. So an 850 watt power supply is going to be fine for this card. So it's really just, it's really efficient, actually. So let's jump into the game, and I'll show you guys the temps. All right, guys, we're jumping into a game right now of Warzone on extreme settings. This is pretty much the highest settings you can set on this game, running 4K. So as you can see, we're getting up in the 280 watts, 290 watts, 165 FPS. Yeah, so right off the bat, we're in game right now. It's pulling 280 watts. And the temps, if you can see the temps, 50 degrees on the GPU. Now, it will slowly go up over time, but it's really a efficient card. So the CPU is sitting at around 55 and 60, which is really good, especially for a 1300K cooled on air. Anyways, guys, that's going to end the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, I really just would not buy a 4090 unless you're one of those enthusiasts out there that just needs to run your games at 4K ultra settings, you know, 150 FPS. But anyways, we will see you guys in the next one. Have a fantastic rest of your day.